It is very common for players to suffer injuries during games or training sessions. However, there are instances where they are unable to participate in matches due to more uncommon circumstances. From infected pimples to runaway cows and adventures in bed, these are the top 10 most bizarre injuries in football. Number 10. Alan Wright injures himself in his Ferrari. Alan Wright had an impressive career at Aston Villa. Despite being one of the shortest ever players in Premier League history, he amassed over 300 matches for the Villains. Although he had many highlights in his playing days, there's one moment that stands out from the rest: his crazy Ferrari injury. He bought his dream car, but didn't take into account that he would probably have trouble reaching the pedals. So one day, when he was trying to accelerate, he strained his knee. Although this is funny to talk about, Wright must have not found it too pleasing to stay out for a couple of weeks. Number 9. Ever Banega breaks his leg fueling his car. Footballers and their cars, am I right? Another freak car accident, this one a bit more graphic. Whenever Banega was going to fuel his car, he forgot to put the handbrake on. So when he got out of the car, it moved and trapped his leg against the curb. As you can probably imagine, that injury wasn't pretty. He broke his tibia and fibula on his left leg and missed almost half of the 2011-2012 season. Number 8. Marco Asensio shaving incident. Continuing on in the warm country of Spain, Marco Asensio is in a position that most of you watching can only dream of: to play for Real Madrid and win every possible trophy. Well, to some players, guaranteeing that their legs are smoothly shaven is a bit more important. One of these players is definitely Asensio. So in 2017, he would miss the first game of the Champions League group stage due to an infected pimple in his leg caused by his shaving. Modern day problems, I guess. Moving on to number 7, Darius Vassell power drills his foot. Yeah, this has to be the lowest IQ video I've ever made, but let's keep going. In 2002, Darius was suffering from a blood blister under his big toenail, but rather than consulting the numerous, fully qualified staff on Villa's payroll, he decided to power up his Black & Decker and drill through his nail to drain the blister. Remarkably, his DIY treatment caused no more damage than a blood infection and the removal of his nail. It still kept him out for a couple of matches though. Number 6. Santiago Cañizares drops his aftershave. This one is not only bizarre, but impactful, as this injury changed the game, creating an absolute monster between the sticks. In 2002, the then number 1 Spanish keeper dropped a bottle of aftershave on his foot, tearing some tendons in the process. He was out of the World Cup that year, and guess who grabbed the number 1 spot and never gave it back after? Iker Casillas. Continuing on with another goalkeeper injury, Alex Stepney took his rants a bit too far. It's pretty usual, especially if you watch matches in the stadium, to hear the keepers screaming at the defenders. Alex Stepney was always very vocal, but one day he took things a bit too far. In 1975, his team, Man United, were playing against Birmingham City. It was a very tough and physical match at Old Trafford, and Stepney had already received a kick in the face. He was alright after receiving it, but when he was shouting orders at his team, his jaw collapsed and he had to be taken out. The 70s were a wild period, no doubt. Number 4. Darren Bernard's dog is his worst enemy. In 1999, the former Chelsea midfielder was out straightening his puppy, but things weren't going too well. Bernard failed to notice a steaming yellow puddle in his kitchen and slipped in it, tearing knee ligaments in the process. It might seem funny, but that kept him out of action for 5 months. In a more positive note, I'm sure he then had plenty of time to train his dog. Number 3. Carlos Tevez gets injured in prison. Tevez returned to Argentina for a third spell at boyhood club Boca Juniors in 2018 and impressed with 3 goals in 5 games following a disappointing spell in the shiny Super League. However, he soon angered bosses at the club when he returned from visiting his half-brother in prison with a tear in his calf muscle after playing football with the prisoners. This was at a maximum security facility in Cordoba, where his half-brother is serving 16 years for armed robbery. Number 2. Leroy Lita bedtime whoopsies. The former Chelsea Academy graduate was playing for Reading when in one morning he decided to stretch after waking up. And that was it. He was out for 6 weeks. I know that some fans get rightfully mad because some players get injured all the time, but this is just taking it to another level. Literally the first thing he does after waking up is injuring himself. Anyways, moving on to number 1, Sam Anderson's crazy cow. Yeah, calling this one bizarre is definitely underplaying it. Back in 2018, Queen of the South, a small club from the Scottish Championship, were fighting tooth and nails to get themselves promoted. But there was one catch. Their main goalkeeper picked up a thigh injury. Nothing unusual. The backup keeper took his place, and Sam Anderson, at the time a kid from the under-19s, a spot at the bench. But that kid was also a farmer, and while helping his dad, he got hit by a runaway cow. He injured his shoulder, and Queen of the South had to promote another goalkeeper from the youth academy. And out of curiosity, they didn't get promoted. And that's the list. I hope you found this video funny, and if you want to see more diverse football content, leave a like on the video. Subscribe to Thorn FC, and if you want to watch more quality football content, click on this video up next. I'll see you there.